Hi guys, welcome to day 3 of our 7-day yoga challenge for complete beginners. And today we're going to come into a standing sequence that is used in traditional yoga. And it's a beautiful sequence that opens up the entire body, it strengthens, it stretches and it warms up. And it's known as sun salutation A. And in Sanskrit it's known as Surya Namaskara A. It's about honoring the sun's energy. And so as we flow and feel, it's about absorbing that life energy through our bodies and our minds. So I hope you enjoy. So come to the top of your mat, bringing the feet about hip width distance apart. Now if you feel you need to go wider with this, by all means taking the feet as wide as feels comfortable for you. And we're just going to begin our practice by standing nice and tall, creating that space as you inhale. And then as you exhale, I want you to think about the feet grounding down into the mat and into the earth, feeling that connection, and just bringing that awareness to this present moment. So we're going to start off with the feet, and we're going to go through our whole alignment. So just to start, I want you to notice how you are naturally stood. Maybe the shoulders are rolling in, the upper back is rounded. Maybe you have this excessive curve to the lower back, this anterior tilt. Or maybe the tailbone is scooped under and the hips are coming forward. So just take a moment to notice. Notice your body. And just to bring more awareness to how we're rooted down into the floor, into the mat, I want you to shift the body weight forward, lifting the heels off the mat, coming as high as you can onto the tiptoes, and then slowly drawing the heels back down as you lift the toes off the mat. Maybe try and find a nice little balance here. Let's take it with some breath to movement. So inhale as you lift the heels, grow tall. And then exhale, bringing the heels down, lifting the toes, shifting that weight back. Inhale as you come up, lift up. Maybe you're shaking, maybe you're finding this a little bit challenging, but just stick with it. And then coming back down, bringing the heels, lifting the toes. And then setting the soles of the feet back down to the earth. Now come to the outer edges of the feet, lifting the inner arches up towards the body. And then draw the inner arches down and the outer edges are coming up. Let's take it with the breath. Inhale, coming to the outer edges. And exhale to the inner arches. One last time. Inhale, taking it out. And exhale, coming in. Now just bringing the soles of the feet down into the earth. As you inhale, lift all the toes off the mat. And as you exhale, bringing the big toes down, followed by each individual toe. And then just notice how your weight is. Hopefully you're a little bit more centered now. And we want to think about the 3 corners of our feet, which is the inner ball, just under the big toe, to the outer ball, and then to the heel. So it's like a triangle. So just try to visualize this triangle on the feet and think about pressing into those 3 points equally. Nice. Maybe notice a gentle sway through the body. And then we're going to come up to the knees. Start to lift the knees up. So thinking about almost squeezing the knees. And then notice the quads and the glutes start to engage. So the legs become nice and active. Bringing awareness now to the tailbone. I want you to notice whether you have this anterior tilt or this posterior tilt. So we want to try and get a nice neutral spine. So you can come and place the outer edges of the hands to the front hip bones, bring the thumbs together and the index fingers together. And if you have this curve to the lower back, I want you to think about rolling the tailbone under so the fingers point down towards the mat. And if you have this posterior tilt, start to think about drawing the tailbone a little bit back, coming into a bit more of a curve to the lower back and pointing the fingers down. Nice. And you should start to find that neutral pelvis and the neutral spine. Begin to draw the belly in and then up towards the spine. Kneecaps lifted. Nice. Coming up to the chest, maybe you're rounding. Just roll the shoulders up to the ears and down the back. Feel this nice broadening through the collarbone, opening through the heart center. Coming down to the arms, we want the hands nice and active, the fingers drawing down towards the mat. And just bring the palms to face forward. Think about lengthening out the crown of the head as you inhale. And then exhale, drawing that energy back down towards the mat. Just take a moment here to notice this alignment. Notice how the body was at the start to how it feels now. Feeling nice and active and strong and stable. And then we're going to inhale as you reach the arms all the way up. Take the gaze high. Now if the shoulders are a little bit stiff, just go to wherever's possible for you. I want to start to feel this nice stretch through the upper body. You can bring the hands nice and wide or bringing the palms towards one another and then take the gaze up. Think about the pelvis, rolling it under if needed, or just shifting that pelvis back a little bit. Take a nice deep inhale as you reach a little bit higher through the fingers. As you exhale, you're going to flip the palms. Begin to hinge at the hips as you lead by the chest. Bend into the knees and start to bring the belly towards the thighs. And we're going to try and bring the hands down towards the mat. But if that's not happening for you, maybe the hamstrings are tight, just come and bring the hands up to the shins, the ankles or the calves. And then begin to roll the head under. And this is your full fold. And just watch out for your ego. And maybe you're wanting to force the body and get down. But it's all about just being mindful of where you are today, just respecting and honoring your body. Just knowing that it's a practice and it all takes time. As you inhale, bringing the hands onto the shins, maybe straightening the legs a little bit more. We're going to come to these kind of cat and cow positions. So you're going to round the upper back as much as you can. Draw the chin in towards the chest. Take a nice inhale here. And as you exhale, coming and dropping the belly down, lifting the tailbone up and taking the gaze forward or down towards the floor. Just roll the shoulders back. And then inhale once again, rounding through the upper back, tucking the tailbone under. And then exhale, begin to lengthen out the spine. So we don't want to drop the belly too far down with this half fold, but we want to think about having a nice flat back. So if somebody was going to come to rest something on the back, you want it to stay nice and balanced. So just bring awareness to how the spine is now. Maybe you're a bit rounded. Think about lengthening out the crown of the head, drawing the tailbone up. Take a nice deep inhale. The knees can be nice and bent. And as you exhale, just bend deeper into the knees, placing the hands down to the mat. We're going to step the right foot back, followed by the left. You're going to come to your high plank pose. So spread through the fingers. Make sure the wrists are under the shoulders. And at any time this feels too much, you can drop the knees down. If you're coming to your full plank, come to the heels. Make sure the heels are over the balls of the feet. Squeeze the thighs and squeeze the glutes. Start to feel the legs nice and active, and then engaging through the core. Notice how the core fires up, bringing extra stability to the body. Let's just take a couple of rounds here, really feeling that strength of our body. Inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Deep and full breaths. You're going to bring the knees down to the mat and then bring the shoulders in front of the wrists and then bring the elbows to point towards the back of the mat. So you're just going to come to this external rotation through the arms. As your shoulders are over the wrists, you're going to think about hugging the elbows in towards the ribs as you bring the chest and the chin down to the mat. Bum is nice and high towards the sky. As you inhale, glide the chest forward, take the gaze ahead, and then hug those elbows in. Really open up the heart, the chest, untuck the toes, coming to your cobra position. Now if you're feeling like you're dumping weight into the lower back, squeeze the bum and squeeze the legs. Just taking that compression out of the lower back. Take a nice deep inhale. And as you exhale, you're going to push away from the mat, bending into the knees, bringing the hips back towards the heels. Tuck under the toes and begin to bring the hips up and back, coming to your downward facing dog. So bring the feet hip width distance apart or a little bit wider if that feels more comfortable. Maybe the heels are coming up and just bend into the knees. Think about that tilt of the tailbone up towards the sky. Draw the belly in, and then you're going to push the chest towards the thighs. No forcing here, but just with the breath, inhale, and then exhale, just bringing that chest a little bit closer. Take the gaze in between the shins. Spread through the fingers. Now we have a tendency to lift the index finger and the thumb off the mat, so I want you to root them down. You can bend into one leg and the other. Maybe take a sway of the hips, coming into the spine. Maybe closing down the eyes, just noticing how the body feels. And this position is quite awkward when you first start doing yoga, this inverted V, and it can be really challenging. So just take your time and don't judge. Now take the gaze to the top of the mat, and we're going to walk the feet up, taking your time to get there. There's no rush. bringing the feet about hip width distance apart or wherever's comfortable. And then inhale, bringing the hands to the shins, roll the shoulders away from the ears, creating this flat back. Just notice if you're rounding, and if you are, draw the shoulder blades towards one another, and you should get to this position, maybe bending into the knees. Take a nice deep inhale, and as you exhale, begin to draw the belly to the thighs, rolling the head under, and then placing the hands wherever feels comfortable for you. And if you have props, then by all means, using them. Taking a moment here, refocus on the breath. Just notice where the breath's at. And then as you inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Take the gaze high. Draw the lower belly in and grow tall. And then exhale, bring the hands through your heart center. Nice. So that was one round. And usually in traditional yoga, they do 5 rounds for a start of a practice. So we're going to do one more. And by all means, you can, at the end of this video, repeat it if you're feeling it. So let's go for a second round. So just bringing awareness to how you're stood in your mountain pose, Tadasana. Finding those points of the body, that equal weighting through the feet, lifting the kneecaps, coming to a neutral spine, neutral pelvis, wherever that is for you. Drawing the belly in and up towards the spine, rolling the shoulders back, lifting the heart, and then drawing energy out the fingers down towards the mat. Lifting out the crown of the head, take a deep inhale here. And exhale out the nose, ground down. Inhale, sweep the arms all the way up. Reach high, grow tall. And then exhale, flip the palms, lead by the chest. Think about hinging from the hips, from the hip creases. Maybe bending deeply into the knees. Just roll the head under. And then inhale, find that flat back, shoulder blades come towards one another. Create space between the ears and the shoulders. Inhale deeply here. And then exhale, take another fold. Placing the hands down onto the mat, spread through the fingers. Step the right foot back, followed by the left. Nice, finding that high plank. Heels stacked over the balls of the feet. Squeeze the thighs, squeeze the bum. Making sure the shoulders are stacked over the wrists. Strong arms, strong body. And then dropping the knees. Shifting the shoulders over the wrists. And then drawing the elbows towards the back of the mat. Think about squeezing the elbows in towards the wrists as you draw the chest down. And then the chin, keeping the bum up. As you inhale, glide the chest forward, cobra pose. Untuck the toes and squeeze the bum, squeeze the thighs. Active body. Take a deep inhale here, drawing the shoulders further away from the ears. And as you exhale, pressing away from the mat with the hands coming back onto the knees, feeling that upper body strength, untucking the toes and then sending the hips up and back, finding your downward facing dog once again. Let's take 3 deep breaths here, just becoming familiar with our downward facing dog. Feet hip width distance apart. Bending into the knees if the hamstrings are tight. Draw the belly in towards the spine. Now we're going to come to the shoulders. Think about rolling the shoulders away from the ears, create space through the neck. We want to think about lengthening through the spine, at the crown of the head. And then take a nice deep inhale. And exhale, draw the belly towards the thighs. Taking the gaze between the ankles. Pressing down into the index finger and the thumb. One more breath. Nice. And then walk the feet up, taking your time. Maybe lifting the hands off the mat. And then inhale, flat back, hands onto the shins, shoulder blades draw towards one another. Lengthen out the crown of the head. Inhaling here, and then on your next exhalation, draw the belly down towards the thighs. Start to roll the head under, holding on to any props or the legs, wherever feels comfortable. And then inhale, we're going to reach the arms up, grip in through the toes, reach high. Exhale, palms to touch and come down through the heart center. Roll the shoulders back and then lift the heart towards the thumbs. Nice. So you've completed 2 rounds of sun salutation A. I hope you enjoyed that standing sequence, and like I said, you can do this at any point through the day, and it's really nice to warm up and start your day as well. So thank you for joining me.